Oh, this is awful. Fans are getting involved. Steven Jackson's in the fans. Rasheed Wallace going into the stands. The security trying to somehow restore order.
This is a disgrace.
Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Steve Levy along the way. It wasn't a brawl in Detroit Friday night. It was a full-scale riot and one of the ugliest incidents of player-fan violence that we've ever seen in this country.
The Palace was anything but. What you are about to see will be talked about for years to come. And before you unconditionally blame the players, take a look and a listen.
Played a very intelligent game tonight.
Then Wallace is fouled, and Wallace did. Oh, Wallace right at our chest. This has potential to be serious if they don't get between. Wallace upset. Players trying to hold each other off. Steven Jackson and Rasheed Wallace trying to be peacemakers. Now Jackson yelling. Wallace still going. You need the coaches in there to get him away. Jackson challenging Derek Coleman. Somebody should just get Jackson out of there. That's what causes the problem. Rasheed Wallace did an excellent job trying to keep everybody away and trying to keep the peace. But it started after Artest with a hard foul on Wallace after he got behind him. And then Ben Wallace came over with the shove. An ugly way for this one to wind down.
Totally uncalled for.
I want to see the foul again because it appeared Wallace was past him and Artest shoved him. And that's what Wallace took exception to, but you still can't react that way. You've got to let it go.
That's not that hard of a foul.
It's not a normal foul, but not that hard. And Ben Wallace can't react that way. Wallace is still charged up. Now, Wallace, I would assume, has been ejected. The way Steven Jackson's carrying on, they should eject him as well.
They need to somehow find a way to get this game over with as quickly as possible.
The problem is, if Wallace is ejected, I'm not sure. He'd have to walk past the Pacer bench to go. Now Artest has jumped over the scorer's table and is trying to get down to the bench. Artest is in the stands. Oh, this is awful. Fans are getting involved. Steven Jackson's in the fans. Rasheed Wallace going into the stands. The security trying to somehow restore order. Fans and players are going at it, and the players trying to help each other out.
This is a disgrace.
All the players now, they're jumping in there to try and get the other players out because the fans have come involved. Oh, what a sad scene here at the Palace. And now another fight's breaking out in front of the Pistons bench. It's a fan on the court. This is very, very dangerous. Fans are throwing cups with liquid in them now onto the court. Ron Artest has a look in his eye that's very scary right now. You wonder if the official's going to let this game continue. Now they're throwing bottles out onto the floor. They're trying to get the Pacers to go back to the locker room. What was maybe you could call a hard foul at best has turned into just an ugly, ugly scene.
Chuck Person.
The officials, I think they're going to call this game off, and that should be. The outcome is definitely decided. You have these ridiculous fans trying to go at the players and now throwing. Somebody could really get hurt. This is a bad showing from the Pistons fans here. Just firing bottles from the stands. The Pacers have all gone back into the locker room, and they're getting thrown a lot of debris, and they're still not all the way through. And for some reason, one of the Pacers, they hold Austin Crozier out. They won't let him get under the tunnel because they're afraid for his safety. They're pouring liquid over. What a disgraceful showing from the Pistons fans here. Let's is one of the worst scenes I've ever seen.
This is a low moment in NBA history.
The players just have to get out of there. Get back to the locker room and forget about it. The game has been called. The official announcement has been made. The game has been called, which was the right call. The outcome obviously is over. And players and fans in danger with the emotions and the tempers being completely lost.
More from Mike Breen and Bill Walton shortly. Both teams eventually would head back to the locker room. We're going to go back through the entire situation from start to finish and slow things down for you. Here's how it happened. 45.9 seconds left. Ron Artest, the hard foul on Ben Wallace. It was hard, but it wasn't flagrant. You could make the argument that Wallace overreacted, but that led to pushing and shoving. It seemed like cooler heads were starting to prevail. Now watch Ben Wallace throws a towel at Artest. Artest always in the middle of everything, right? But at this point, Artest is actually just chilling. He's lying on the scorer's table. When a fan throws a cup, it hits him in the face. That leads Artest into the crowd. He wrestles the fan down to the ground, and I wonder if I should be using the word fan in this particular case. Steven Jackson punches a fan in the face there. Watch the fan come into your picture on the left. He's in a baseball hat. Right there. He's hitting Artest from behind. Watch another fan. He clocks Fred Jones from behind. So the fans are not backing off. They're clearly making matters worse. Then as Artest gets back on the court, watch this. Artest punches that fan right in the face. Looked like the fan was heading towards him. Artest hit him. Then as another fan gets up, watch Jermaine O'Neal, right of your screen coming into the picture, right there, sends the fan down. The officials were banged up in this game as well. Lower right-hand corner of your screen, that's Tommy Nunez Jr. He would take a bottle, a plastic bottle where you would think off the face. Now, Artest is still on the court. The cop threatens to spray him with pepper spray, but in the end doesn't. Now, Reggie Miller would come over along with Austin Crozier. There's Reggie on the right, and the cops help get Artest off the floor. Now, as Jermaine O'Neal heads off the floor, watch this. Looks like an article of clothing comes flying in his direction. Almost hit Jonathan Bender. Now, by this point, Artest is off the court, heading for the dressing room. That's Artest there. Steven Jackson follows him. Meanwhile, the scariest part, watch the upper right-hand corner of your screen now. Here's a chair thrown in, flying in the direction of Jermaine O'Neal. Another fight breaks out. Players, fans, security. Now, to take a good look now, down on the floor in a prone position, you'll be able to get a glimpse right there of what appears to be an older woman lying down in the middle of it all. O'Neal gets hit in the face with what appeared to be a bucket of popcorn. Now watch Jamal Tinsley now. He comes back out of the dressing room, grabs a dustpan, and is inches away from hitting somebody. Thought better. The Pacers just littered with food and drink as they would exit. People were left bloodied. Fans were left stunned. And kids were left with tears on an overall sorry night for the NBA and especially fans of the Detroit Pistons.